The galaxy was quiet that day. Across thousands of star systems, screens suddenly turned on by force. Ships, stations, and even private homes were hacked at the same time. A symbol appeared, sharp, red, and proud. It belonged to the Zyran Dominion, one of the most feared alien empires in known space. No one could turn the broadcast off. At the center of the screen stood a massive alien lord, tall and armored, with glowing eyes full of pride. Behind him, millions of humans were chained together in open space cages. They were civilians, miners, engineers, families, children. None of them were soldiers. The alien lord spoke slowly, clearly, so every species could understand. Today, he said, the galaxy will learn the price of resisting the Zyran Dominion. The first cage opened. Humans screamed as the vacuum pulled them out. Bodies froze, then shattered. The alien crowd watching from their world cheered loudly. This was not a punishment. This was entertainment. Across the galaxy, many species looked away. Some felt fear. Some felt shame. No one dared to speak. On Earth, the broadcast appeared in every city. People stopped walking. Cars crashed into each other. Children cried as parents pulled them close. The death count on the screen kept rising. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. In a dark room deep beneath Earth's surface, human leaders watched in silence. No one shouted. No one cried. Faces were hard, still, and pale. When the counter reached 7 million, the alien lord smiled. Let this be a lesson, he said. Humans are weak. Their lives mean nothing. The broadcast ended. Across the galaxy, many believed that was the end of humanity's spirit. They were wrong. On Earth, alarms did not ring. Fleets did not launch. No messages were sent. Instead, something far older awakened. Deep in hidden shipyards, long-forgotten warships powered on. Their hulls were black, unmarked, and silent. These ships had names removed from records long ago. In underground command halls, ancient protocols unlocked. One officer spoke softly, breaking the silence. Casualties confirmed. 7 million civilians. Another voice replied, calm but cold. Protocol final response authorized. No cheering followed. No anger was shown. Only action. Across human space, fleets began to move not toward borders, but toward forgotten paths no one else knew existed. Paths humans had prepared in silence for centuries. Back in the wider galaxy, alien leaders laughed and celebrated. They shared clips of the broadcast, calling it the greatest show ever seen. Some even sold recordings for profit. They did not notice human ships slipping past sensors. They did not see stars going dark. On Earth, a single message was prepared, but not yet sent. The leaders watched one last replay of the broadcast. Not the deaths, but the alien lord's smile. A general finally spoke. They wanted the galaxy to watch humans die. He paused. Now the galaxy will watch them disappear. Far beyond known space, human war engines warmed up. Weapons never used before were unlocked. Not for conquest, not for glory, but for justice written in extinction. And somewhere, deep in the Zyran Dominion, their systems began to fail one by one. They still believed. They had won. The galaxy was about to learn what happens when humanity stops asking for mercy. The galaxy waited for Earth to react. After the broadcast, many expected rage. Some expected begging. Others thought humans would hide behind treaties and words. But Earth did none of that. There was no public message. No threat. No cry for help. Human space went silent. Alien news networks mocked this silence. They said humanity was broken. They replayed the massacre again and again, laughing at how quiet Earth had become. Inside the Zyran Dominion, celebrations filled entire planets. Fireworks lit alien skies. Leaders praised the broadcast as a great victory. To them, humans were finished. They were wrong. On Earth, deep under mountains and oceans, human command centers were active. Officers moved with calm focus. Screens showed star maps, not enemy faces. There was no anger in the room, only control. A senior commander spoke. Begin Phase 1. Across hidden human territories, ships that were never meant to be seen started moving. These were not normal warships. They were older, darker, and faster. Their engines made no light. Their signals made no sound. Human fleets did not rush toward the enemy. Instead, they vanished. They used secret routes through dead space areas aliens believed were impossible to cross. Humans had studied those regions for centuries. They had suffered there. They had adapted. The first Zyran outpost went silent without warning. No explosion. No distress signal. Just silence. Alien commanders noticed hours later. They blamed system failure. When a second outpost vanished, they laughed and said humans were playing tricks. Then a third disappeared. Panic slowly entered Zyran command halls. Scouts were sent. None returned. Meanwhile, Earth still said nothing. Other alien species began to worry. They had seen humans fight before. Humans did not scream when angry. They became quiet. Very quiet. In a distant system, a Zyran patrol fleet detected movement. Human ships appeared for less than a second. Long enough to fire, Zyran shields failed instantly. Their strongest weapons did nothing. Entire fleets were erased before they could even turn. The survivors tried to escape. They could not. Back on Earth, a junior officer asked a question. Should we send a warning now? The commander shook his head. They already had their warning. Human fleets kept moving deeper into Zyran territory. Supply worlds vanished. Communication hubs were destroyed. Entire trade routes collapsed. Still no human message. The Zyran Dominion tried to respond. Massive fleets were ordered to defend the core worlds. But every move was slow. Humans were always ahead. Always unseen. For the first time in generations, the Zyran Dominion felt fear. Alien leaders demanded answers. They shouted. They blamed each other. They replayed the old broadcast, hoping to remind the galaxy of their power. But now, no one was cheering. Other species began shutting down their broadcasts. Some quietly erased their copies of the massacre. Others sent secret messages to Earth, messages that were never answered. On Earth, the leaders watched live feeds of collapsing Zyran systems. No one smiled. General spoke softly. They still think this is a battle. He looked at the screen. This is not a battle. This is a correction. At last, Earth prepared a message. Not for the Zyran Dominion alone, but for the entire galaxy. It was short. It was clear. It would be sent when the time was right. Far inside Zyran space, alarms finally screamed without stopping. Their borders were gone. Their fleets were failing. Their people were starting to run. And somewhere, at the edge of their home system, human warships gathered, still silent. Still unseen. Earth did not cry. Earth was coming. The Zyran Dominion finally understood one truth. This was not a raid. This was not revenge. This was extermination. Across their territory, alarms screamed without rest. Star systems went dark one after another. Fleets sent to defend never returned. The Zyran military, once proud and feared, was now confused and afraid. At the edge of the Zyran core worlds, human warships appeared. They did not arrive in large numbers at first. Only a few ships showed themselves, black, silent, and massive. Zyran sensors struggled to lock on them. Human ships were there, then gone. Zyran commanders ordered a full attack. Energy beams filled space. Missiles launched in thousands. The void burned with light. The human ships did not slow down. Their shields absorbed everything. Their hulls did not break. Then they fired back. Human weapons did not look powerful. There was no bright flash, no loud sound. But wherever the beams touched, Zyran ships simply stopped working. Power died. Engines failed. Crews froze in fear. Then the ships exploded. Within minutes, an entire Zyran defense fleet was gone. The human fleet moved forward without pause. They struck military shipyards first. Massive structures that took centuries to build were destroyed in seconds. Docked ships never had time to launch. Supply stations vanished in silent fire. For the first time, Zyran civilians saw human ships with their own eyes. Panic spread across their worlds. Zyran leaders rushed to their capital chamber. Voices shouted over each other. Some demanded peace. Others demanded more weapons. None had answers. Then, at last, a human signal appeared. Every Zyran screen turned on at the same time. A human officer stood in shadow. No flags, no symbols. Just a calm face. "You broadcast the deaths of 7 million humans," the officer said. "You turned murder into entertainment." Behind the officer, the old broadcast played. Humans screaming. Cages opening. The smile of the Zyran Lord. The officer continued. "You wanted the galaxy to watch." The image changed. Now it showed Zyran fleets burning. Worlds shaking. Cities losing power. So watch. The message ended. No threats followed. No demands. Only silence. Human fleets divided and struck deeper. Defense lines failed everywhere. Zyran commanders tried new tactics, then old ones. Nothing worked. Their best weapons could not hit human ships. Their fastest fleets could not escape. The galaxy watched in fear. Other alien nations shut their borders. Some begged Earth to stop. Others prepared defenses, hoping humans would never look their way. But Earth ignored them all. This war was not for the galaxy. It was personal. In the Zyran capital system, the alien lord from the broadcast stared at his screens. The smile that once made him famous was gone. His hands shook. "They are not supposed to fight like this," he whispered. Outside his world, human ships began to form a perfect ring. Zyran civilians screamed as the sky filled with dark shapes. Emergency shelters overflowed. Escape ships were destroyed as soon as they launched. Human weapons targeted power grids, defense corps, and command centers. Not to cause chaos, but to remove hope. On Earth, commanders watched everything in silence. A young officer asked, "Is this enough?" The senior general answered slowly, "They showed us 7 million deaths." He looked at the screen. "This is only the beginning." Far across the galaxy, one truth became clear. Humanity did not fight to win battles. Humanity fought to end threats forever. And the Zyran Dominion was about to learn what extinction truly meant. The fall of the Zyran Dominion was no longer a secret across the galaxy. Every major power now watched the same feeds. Once proud Zyran worlds were dark. Their fleets were gone. Their borders did not exist anymore. And at the center of it all, human warships. Other alien species began to panic. Emergency councils formed. Ancient enemies sat together in fear. They did not discuss trade or politics. They discussed one question only: will humans stop? Messages were sent to Earth from every direction. Some were respectful. Some were desperate. Some begged. They warned that the destruction of the Zyran Dominion would break the balance of the galaxy. They said extinction was too cruel. They asked humans to show mercy. Earth did not reply. Human fleets continued their advance. Inside Zyran space, life collapsed. Power grids failed. Food systems shut down. Communication between worlds was impossible. Refugee ships tried to flee but were stopped and turned. Back. Not destroyed. Just stopped. Humans wanted them to watch. On the Zyran capital world, the sky never grew dark. Human ships blocked the stars, forming a silent wall. Every city lived in constant shadow. The alien lord who once smiled on the broadcast now hid deep underground. His voice shook as he spoke to his council. Open channels to Earth, he demanded. Offer anything. At last, Earth answered. A single human diplomat appeared on every screen across the galaxy. She looked tired. Come, human. We hear your requests, she said. We reject them. The room fell silent. You ask us to stop, she continued. You ask for mercy. Her eyes hardened. Where was your mercy when 7 million humans died on live broadcast? No one answered. You say extinction is wrong, she said. You made it a show. The diplomat's image changed. The old broadcast played again. Screams, cages, laughter. Then it stopped. This war ends when the threat ends, she said. The Zyran Dominion is the threat. The message ended. Across the galaxy, fear turned into understanding. This was not anger. This was law. Human fleets moved into final positions. On the Zyran capital, emergency sirens howled day and night. Citizens prayed to forgotten gods. Some cursed their leaders. Some simply waited. The alien lord tried to escape. His ship never left the atmosphere. Human interceptors disabled it gently, almost carefully. The ship fell back to the surface in one piece. Humans did not want him dead. They wanted him alive. On Earth, a general watched the capture report. Why keep him? A commander asked. The general answered, because he wanted an audience. Human ships began deploying massive devices around the Zyran capital world. They did not fire. They waited. Other species watched in horror. Some turned away. Others recorded everything. Knowing history was being written. The Zyran people now understood. The truth, humans were not monsters. They were judges. And judgment was almost complete. Far above the Zyran capital. The final human fleet locked into position. The last command was prepared. Across the galaxy, one message began to play on every screen, every channel, every world. The final chapter was about to begin. The final broadcast reached every corner of the galaxy. No one could turn it off. On the screen appeared the Zyran capital world, surrounded by human warships. Above it floated a single platform. Upon it stood the Zyran Lord, the same one who had smiled while 7 million humans died. Now he was silent. A human officer stepped forward. His voice was calm, steady, and clear. You wanted the galaxy to watch, he said. The old broadcast played again. The cages, the screams, the laughter. The number counting upward. 7 million. The screen split. On the other side, the Zyran Lord watched his own world from above. Human ships blocked the stars. His people waited in fear below. The officer continued. This is not revenge, he said. This is consequence. With a simple gesture, the human fleet activated the final devices. They did not fire weapons. They changed the planet. The Zyran capital world's core was locked. Energy flows were frozen. The planet's rotation slowed. Technology failed everywhere at once. Cities went dark. Ships fell from the sky. The world did not explode. It was silenced. Across the galaxy, species watched in horror as the Zyran homeworld became cold and still. A living world turned into a quiet monument. The Zyran Lord fell to his knees. We surrender, he whispered. The human officer looked at him. You surrendered 7 million humans to death, he replied. Live with that. The platform disappeared. The Zyran Lord was returned to the surface alive, powerless, and alone on a dead world. Human fleets began to withdraw. No victory music played. No celebrations followed. On Earth, there were no parades. Only memorials. 7 million names were written into history. Across the galaxy, governments rewrote their laws. New rules were made. No species would ever again broadcast death for pleasure. No empire would ever treat humans as weak. A final human message was sent to all worlds. It was short. Never turn human suffering into entertainment. Never test our silence. Never forget what happened to the Zyran Dominion. Then Earth went quiet again. Trade slowly returned. Borders reopened. But fear remained. Not fear of human anger, fear of human restraint. Because the galaxy now understood the truth. Humanity does not shout. Humanity does not threaten. Humanity remembers. And when humans decide to act, they do not seek victory. They seek an ending. Far from Earth, the frozen Zyran world drifted through space, a silent warning to all who looked upon it. The galaxy had learned its lesson the hard way.